Now listen, I know you're a good person. I know you are. That's why you're watching me. And you care about things, and you're worried about children and this drag queen dancing and apparent war on children. It's nuts. I understand what you're thinking. But the First Amendment is still in play. Now, I know what you're saying. Wait a minute. What does the First Amendment have to do with children? This may come as a shock to you, and this may bother you, but I'm going to tell you. There are people who will be able to claim that the First Amendment protects them and their versions of art, expression, and the like that deal with adult dancing and you can say, wait. Drag queens? Drag queen is a term you came up with. Wait a minute. Are you saying that the First Amendment protects drag queens? Yes. There's nothing in it that says, well, it's not pornographic. It's not, and pornographic, by the way, is not a First Amendment challenge. It's not obscene. Obscenity is not covered. Wait a minute. I know what you're thinking. Hold it. Wait. The First Amendment? Yeah. And also, there was was it a Tennessee statute? I forget. There was a federal judge who very correctly ruled that this matter, this statute, was so vague and so overbroad that it never specified whether the adult entertainment was indoors, outdoors, private. No, wait. I know what you're saying. Wait a minute, hold it. First Amendment? What do you think the First Amendment is? Everybody who's ever claimed it always put it this way. Anybody who's ever brought up the First Amendment as a defense means that somebody's saying they can't say it. So there's automatically a problem. Okay, there's automatically a kind of a loggerheads we're at. So number one, the statute cannot be vague. It can't be overbroad. Number one. Number two, you got to ask yourself the question, what is it that you're saying is inappropriate to pass a law? Let's assume you passed a law that said subject matter that is inappropriate or beyond the intellectual spectrum or ken of children. And you go, whoa, what does that mean? Well, I don't think, for example, it's a good idea to have books on particle physics or Higgs fields and for children, and because I think that goes beyond. You go, wait a minute. What's wrong with that? Well, I think it's a problem. That's nuts. Well, you think it's nuts. Well, I want to ban children from seeing some man dressed as a woman. Okay. What about puppet shows? What's a puppet show? Puppet shows? What the hell's a puppet show? I find those inappropriate. That's a weird form of masquerading as humans. These violent, remember Punch and Judy? And wait a minute. See, because you're so angry, and I don't blame you, at this horrible children looking up and seeing a man dressed as a woman in a school. Wait a minute. Let's go further. Define that for me. I'm with you on this. I don't think it should be in schools. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. For school performances? No. I don't think kids should watch Birth of a Nation. D.W. Griffith, that's a classic. No, I don't want to see this. I don't think they should see Philadelphia Burning or inappropriate movies about. I think that's the name of it. You know what I'm talking about. I don't think they should see these things. They're just age inappropriate. The Philadelphia story, whatever that Philadelphia, about AIDS about war. I don't think kids should see Home Alone. Home Alone is an absolutely scary movie for kids because what's a kid's first fear? Abandonment. I don't think Bambi, Old Yeller, Dumbo. Do you want to go through this? Do you want me to go through all these? Okay, try writing a statute signed or put in by the governor, a law that prohibits inappropriate. What do you want to call it? Adult. Now you think I'm to you it's clear cut. Fine. Write a statute. Let me give you a quick, this is an example of this. Years ago, I know this is nuts. Years ago, in Florida, there were these hot dog vendors, these bikini. This was so stupid. You got to listen to this. It was on the causeway between Tampa and Clearwater, across Tampa Bay. Anyway, there were these women who would sell hot dogs in bikinis. And all these men would show up and buy hot dogs. It was at a beach where 20 feet away, people were in bikinis. But these women wore thongs. Now, thongs were a big deal. You may not think they're a big deal now, but I remember the first time they had thongs, he goes, what the hell is this? Floss and the whole bit. So they tried to write a statute, and I wish I could find it, describing the buttocks that exposed. And they talked about the cleavage, the anal cleft. I'll never forget this. Meaning what called a plumber's crack. It was nuts. Because the behavior they knew was wrong, they thought, and they had to justify a means using, statutory language that prohibited it. Give you another example. And you see these statutes to an extent today. Women standing on, there was in parts of the city, this was years ago, wearing hooker outfits. I know you're going to say, what's that? High heels, short, Daisy Dukes, they would call them, standing on the corner, men going to work in the morning, waving. Now, I don't know who's going to, I never understood, are they going to get into the car? You're on your way to work? Anyway, I got too much into the logistics to think versus the practicality of this, but anyway. So people went crazy. And they said, there's hookers in our town. Look at them. They're waving at people. And they said, okay, all right, fine. We're going to write a statute. And the statute said it prohibited loitering and prowling for the purposes of inducing or inspiring or whatever, sexual, whatever it was. It was the most ridiculous statute I've ever seen in my life. Why? Because they were waving. And at the very same time this was happening, it was right around Labor Day, and there was the days of yore of Jerry Lewis, and firemen used to stand on corners with boots, fire boots, waving. They did the same thing. Well, that's different because those weren't hookers. What? There was another statute. There were people passed out. They tried to pass a statute once. It said it's unlawful to sleep in public. What does that mean? You doze off at a park bench? What does that mean? How do you do this? How is it that you try to statutorily define behavior or the possession? You don't remember this, but when head shops try to ban paraphernalia, what the hell is paraphernalia? Well, you know what it is. You knew what it is. It's the old Potter Stewart, Jacobellis, I know it when I see it business. Nobody knew what the hell that was. You mean cigarette papers? Yeah, they sell cigarette papers. Yeah, but these cigarette papers are what? So what I'm saying is, we're losing our minds here. We're getting a little bit out of control. And I understand what's happening to kids. Believe me. What about this? We want to ban TikTok. TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. Go after TikTok because it's China, China. You know who's funding this? Mark Zuckerberg. Come on. TikTok's the biggest. That Facebook is collapsing. And what's the biggest problem to him? The biggest, I guess, competition? TikTok. Isn't that funny? Oh, TikTok's the only people to steal data? Yeah, but those are the Chinese. What the hell does that mean? I don't know, but it sounds more. So I understand. Believe me. This is why homeschooling is the way to go. I think parents should be able to say, excuse me, I want you, Mrs. Worthington. Yes, my teacher. Here's an email. Little Megan, I want you to say, I do not consent to her seeing this. You let me know when you're planning on doing this, and I will take her out of school. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead. I don't want her to see this. Have you been around children? Have you had children? Yes. The things that seem to you very obvious and open and rational and clinical and to a child are just absolutely confounding. Why are they doing that? What are you doing that? There's when children are in that age when they realize that this is naughty and this isn't, and and you see some John Waters dystopian, some 7-foot tall man saying, "How are you, kid? Hit it, 5, 6, 7, 8. Start spreading the news." It can be disconcerting. You as a parent have that option to opt your child out of that. But to write a statute that forbids this, signed by the governor, that prohibits what? All comporting with the First Amendment? Expression? As demented as you can imagine? Be careful. Pump the brakes just a little bit. Don't throw the baby out with the constitutional bathwater. You dig? I think I've used enough metaphors. All right, my friends, please like this video, subscribe to the channel. Please put your thoughts are wonderful, and please comment below as you see